Hello, I am Chylli from channel Chylli, also known as Chai, and we are back for more Limbus Company winning threads event here. Last time we left off, we got to 9.5-7. So yeah, we're just going to be continuing right here.
전원 집합. 이번 작품에 대해 논의할 시간이다.
敵が来ます。皆さん、戦闘の準備を。
나선 속을 벗어날 순 없다. 어중간한 예술은 물어뜯어 고칠 수밖에.
このまま行けば敵を食い止められます。짜증나게.
피가 튀고.
효과적인 공격이었다.
Having 0 SP is so annoying, oh my lord.
敵の調子が悪くなっているみたいです。
영감이 떠올랐어요.
합격장.
그 시선, 경멸성. 따뜻한 엎드리도록.
아이씨, 짜증나게. 남았어도 이 정도쯤은. 바이올렛 브레이크 슬랩.
그렇게 이제 승리했나요?
임파스터. これが必要な戦いであれば。
So far we're doing pretty good here.
점 찍었네. 행진의 꽃.
Focus encounters always take a little while longer.
너는 가족이 되기에 약하군.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
파우스트, 신체파의 예술을 보여줄 시간이란다.
뛰어라.
내가 보여주겠군요. 내장 외면의 질서를 보여줄게. 囚人の皆さんの状態に何か変化が。
퍼레이드와 피날레.
혈관에 닿게. 이제야 친해졌네요.
훌륭한 단말이네. 스며드는군.
敵は深手を負っています。
Alrighty, and these are the last 4 now.
가족을 위해.
퇴장 시간이 되었답니다. 그럼 안녕히.
항상 저희 영광 일깨워 주시는군요.また一つ学ばせていただきました。敵は深手を負っています。
점 찍었네.
이제야 친해졌네요.
And there we go. Kind of a letdown when they were body blocking the door like that. There was some big secret behind it. Right? Looks like any other average family home. Oh man, I get cleaning up's a chore, but peeps should at least dust their homes once in a while. The thick layer of dust covering every surface and the blotchy wallpaper made it clear that no one's been living here in a good long while. Whichever family lived here must have had a child. Oh, is this Rien's home? That's kinda sad, honestly. Look, there are drawings and dolls too, though it seems like the place has been abandoned for quite a long time. Could something bad have happened in here? Yeah, something must have happened in here that caused the family to flee, and they never got to return. Yeah, lots of evidence suggesting that. The open door, the single shoe just laying around. So someone fled from home for some reason, never to return. I don't know, it's kinda hard to narrow down the cause. It really could have been anything. Are you searching for something in particular, Ryoshu? Yes, but it doesn't seem to be here. Every framed photo is singed beyond recognition, and whatever documents there were have been torn to shreds. Kinda like my memories. So this wasn't where he escaped to. The Indexner's father, Rien. The last time we saw him, he fled the house via the corridor after suffering a severe wound at Ryoshu's hand. If by some miracle he survived, there's a chance he'd come after Ryoshu again, but... Something about our last encounter led me to believe that it was the last time Ryoshu would ever see him. This is... Do you recognize this drawing? Found myself hoping to see Ryoshu piece together another memory. She's been recalling new details all day whenever something caught her attention. Sadly, she responded by softly shaking her head. No, I don't.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 만인의 신금을 울리지는 못하더라도
기능보다 소재의 원본을 드러내는 방향으로. 발톱 장식이 요격 없음. 먹이를 핥혀 소나기에 담으려는 격정 느껴짐.
We're probably going to be running a little low on time, so I'm going to skip the uptight cutscene for now. There we go, that should be a good loadout.
어떤 조직놈들인지 면면 좀 받을까?
After leaving Rien's quarters, we explored the index corridor for a while, but didn't find anything that could help piece Ryoshu's memories back together. Great work, now that just leaves the Pinky Nurse Father's corridor. But that room didn't have any back door for us to explore. There were countless more in the adjacent corridor, but our guideline makes it a bit difficult to delve into each and every one of them right away. Which means that our work here is done. Thank you for your assistance, Dante. Okay, glad we could help. Dante replies they're glad to have been of assistance. Well then, it's been a pleasure. After a brief round of handshakes, Alan returned to the forward base. He probably should have done the same, but wanna have a look around here anyway? Sure. As we had more business here than simply checking the doors, we decided to stay a little longer and investigate the Pinky's corridor. The Pinky Nurse Father's room had a peculiar structure. Each door we opened led to a room identical in shape to the previous one. And even though I was certain we've traversed through quite a few rooms, we somehow found ourselves back at the starting point. There are some small design differences between each room that help to tell them apart, but it's difficult to tell which is which unless we look really hard at every detail. Where are we now? The kitchen? How do you know that? I've been here before. Someone ghosted me after promising to watch Fixer clips together, so I thought I'd come visit. And someone y'all have met too, I think. It was... must be another one who was severed by the Aria Shiki. Damn, you must be right. His name was Rien, the Pinky Apprentice. I TikToked, but no one here really seemed to have anything to say to that. I guess that only makes sense. After all, his existence registered to no one here but me. So when you said late at... What am I saying? So when you said back at K-Corp that you'd cooked before, you were talking about this. Yeah, I used to perform intense culinary artistry here. Your scabbard's shaking. The reviews were glowing. One of them was YUM, meaning yeah, unbelievably mouth-watering. The scabbard, Arya, was defiantly shaking from side to side in a valiant effort to deny Ryoshu's claim. Must have been pretty damn bad. I'm having a hard time believing her if you ask me. What did you usually make? Boxed lunch? Boxed lunch that kids might bring to grade school, with sausages cut like octopuses and tamagayaki. It was simple to be intense culinary artistry, don't you think? Ah, yes. Didn't you know? There's nothing like a school lunchbox rivalry. I want octopus sausages, tamagayaki, and... Why are you making sausages out of an octopus? No, I mean sausages cut like octopuses. And why are we cutting sausages into octopus shapes? Because it's adorbs, that's why. Something like this? What's that? Sausages carved into an octopus shape, didn't miss a single suction cup. Come on, I didn't mean like a real-life octopus, it's gotta be adorbs, Kay? Isn't it all the SD when it comes down to the gullet? Why is this so important? But mommy, there's nothing like a school lunchbox rivalry. IDU. You're doing your weird acronyms again, aren't you? It means I don't understand. That's when you say IDK, Mom, SMH. These must be some of the happiest memories Ryoshu and Arya shared. The sinners me and Arya, even as a scabbard, could imagine or recall them in full. But for Ryoshu, the most important part of those memories remained sliced away. Still, if we could continue to piece together more and more of the memories by going over these places. You want to check out what's upstairs, too? As soon as I asked, however, the sinner's footsteps came to a simultaneous stop. Wait. Hang on, Clockhead, don't open the door just yet. I looked back and found Kira and Heathcliff poised to fight, hands on their weapons. This way, manager. And Merceau, who realized what that indicated, yanked me out of the back of the line, and in mere moments. So there was someone guiding those whelps. Figures they send more than fodder to the house of spiders. Thinks of wet dog. The claws of a massive paw slashed through where we had been standing. Wolf mask? It really is, as Maestro Emily Benoit said, and this place is already occupied. If you would be so kind as to help me with directions, is this where Master Callisto's art is located? The question came from a woman who appeared from one of the doors that led to a different corridor. She was wearing a wolf mask, and unlike the Fauvist we had encountered thus far, she seemed to make it a point to speak and act with decorum. But the subtle hint of violence in her voice quickly betrayed this air of faux civility. Sure, you're at the right address, lady. Robounk's stuff ain't in this part of the house. Find a different corridor. Yes, I'm aware, but I'm not here to look for his creations, which are easily mistaken for mass-produced garbage. I could feel her intense gaze, even though her face was obscured by the mask. There was no doubt that her eyes were bearing down on Ryoshu. Suddenly, I was reminded of what Rien said moments before he fled through the corridor. We let them observe us too freely. What is that? The Fauvist got to confirm a lot of important intel, including the fact that the House of Spiders has fallen and that Ryoshu currently has possession of the Arishiki. They want Ryoshu for themselves, whether she's completed or not, Ryoshu as she is now. Isn't that intriguing, for once? My name's Rufo. Yoshihide, the blade coveted by the Five Fingers, Master Callisto's final and posthumous masterpiece. As a docent of Fauvism, please allow me the honor of escorting you to our gallery. Do I want to? Don't see the point in hanging around with people in those unaesthetic AM. As expected, Ryoshu declined Rufo's request with a curt reply, and Arya too rattled angrily in the docent's general direction. Then I'm afraid my only remaining option is to rely on our usual method of ushering. How are our odds? I don't know, she's probably tougher than me in my maxed out stats. Really? The shape of her ring suggests she's a docent of the school of Fauvism. Her position is comparable to that of a capo with a ring or a big sibling in the middle. Verily, that maketh her a foe who may surpass even Ricardo's might, or, with a stroke of ill fortune, even Lei Hang. Though she's anywhere near as strong as Lei Hang, our chances are HOM. Half or more? I like those odds. Half of half or more. Dude, really? outmoded has-been. Why seek out the art of a has-been after all this time? It was a decision met with much confusion from the outset. To entrust such a momentous project in the hands of one such as Callisto, why everyone agrees that it is no less foolish than casting a pearl before swine. And they were quite on point with that assessment. His affair recovered from the house were more tools than art. The sort of the likes of workshop misers might assemble. No self-respecting maestro would create such mundanities and call them art. Now I must ask for your forgiveness for presuming you would be no different from the rest of his work, but when I observed from this room completely changed my perspective. The scorched corridor, the severity with which you scarred the walls and the floor as though a frenzied beast had torn through them. There is but one tool that could have possibly left such marks behind. At least you got a passable eye for art. Yoshihide, I ask you, have you ever considered pursuing art of a further elevated beauty? It will be an experience that departs from the dilapidated remnant that does itself corporatism. A movement so constrained by its obsession over the human corpus that, once it had depleted all meaning it had to offer, it began piling on empty definitions onto itself. Fauvism is a movement that is broken from the traditional mold. Unfettered like a beast that roams free, we dare ourselves ask questions that challenge the mind. What is man? What are things? What does it mean to trace the origin? How do we define that which we call the ferv? These are the subjects matters that have led us Fauvists into a field of fertile creativity. Should you, a wielder of that relic in our fold of our movement, it will layer your work with such an unrelenting spectrum of colors that it would be destined to leave an unforgettable impression in the annals of history. In other words, what we would like to offer you would be much greater worth than what you would have learned from a teacher like Callisto. Never considered him my teacher, not a real one anyway. Finding beauty among the carnage of blood and flesh is a lesson I learned on my own. And yes, I know enough about your movement. Maybe I considered some of the works created by your school acceptable, at least among the rings are, or not, I can't remember. Then will you? But I don't know. I don't know what makes your art more elevated than the one I pursue. The one you pursue? Didn't the sight you claim to have seen clue you in? Oh, it did, I do understand. Your art may appear to be no more than unchecked chaos at a glance, but upon closer observation it reveals a fierce dominant force that threads the entire scene together, with its keenness as its connecting structure. Your blade work too shows such multi-layeredness. Mere keenness often entails mundanity, yet you have transcended such a limit by scorching the tail end of each slash. Truly a unique aesthetic sense. I believe I've sufficiently understood the full extent of the artistic merit imbued in the S.A.N.G.R.I.A. No, you didn't. Lesser painters like you are such mediocrities that they fail to recognize the beauty that lies in the grotesque. They do little beyond painting the hell reflected in their eyes and call that shallowness hell's beauty. The sorrow condensed into a cry held in an instant, wrath unbound from the yoke of reason, the fading gleam of despair in the hewn. You give no thoughts of what each of these emotions signifies, instead obsessing over the cursory qualities of what is beheld. Let me teach you otherwise. Pay attention, because I won't afford you another long-winded lesson. Yoshu readied her scabbard. Pointless Fauvist supremacists, Bled Raiders, Cubists. I visited my share of the Rings galleries, heard their commentaries, but none of them were of my liking. Your art is an overcomplicated pile of definitions buried under symbols caked in patchworks of empty shells. You and your art both talk too damn much, just like Callisto's. Kept trying to take from other movements, force meaning where there was none. Excess is easy, anyone can do it. What's beyond most is making it succinct, the art of abbreviation. Alas, if all is one by one abbreviated away, nothing remains in its absence, making the void left behind completely bereft of meaning. No, the void is what remains, and it holds the things that cannot be found anywhere else. What is this, a minimalist manifesto? No, my aesthetics go beyond the pursuit of simplicity. I pursue the natural germination of artistic immaculacy, a state of perfection wherein further abbreviation is an impossibility. S.A.N.G.R.I.A. A bit abstract, isn't it? Too removed, too plain, with a distinct lack of any meaningful, striking qualities. What exactly is it that elevates your art above that of Fauvism? Painter is, well, the stubborn sort that mere words can't convince. Indeed, there is no discipline more subjective than that of art. Discourse concerning its nature may extend for days on end, but it will not change the fact that unseen arts are meaningless, pretentious illusions at the end of the day. Then I suppose I'll have to carve it right into your eyes. Please do, though I'm afraid it may be overshadowed by the sheer vibrancy of my aesthetics. I, a docent of Fauvism, shall personally welcome you to my critique session. Alrighty, boss time.
敵に変化が見られます。
감상은 어떤가요?
Alright, that looks good to me. I think we should be good here.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
기가 튀.
Wow, she's really not too bad at all.
한 쌍의 상황골과 24개의 늑골이 자아내는 티비아의 멜로디가
Seems like the students will redirect the attacks aimed at her, so...
어중간한 예술은
나쁘지
敵
않아요.
に対して大きな打撃を与えました。
예술적이네요.
敵は深手を負っています。
영감이 떠올랐어요. 혈관을 걷게. 나쁘지 않아요.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
따뜻한 엎드리도록.
임파스터. 敵は深手を負っています。
나선 속을 벗어날 수는 없다.
아이, 짜증나게.
따뜻한
남았어도 이 정도쯤은 구경 좀 해볼까?
인스퍼레이션 감사합니다.
나戦いであれば
점 찍었네.
따뜻하게 뚫리고
마지막으로 남길 말?
바이올렛 브레이크 슬램! 내가 공부력 때문에 애장품 특별히 보여줄게.
무기를 만드는 것만
事情があるのでしょう。
내가 어버이보다 뛰어나지.
私たちは止まれません。
가족을 위해 따뜻한
퇴장 시간이 되었답니다. 그럼 안녕히.
항상
討伐確認。
저의 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
합격장.
敵は深手を負っています。
점 찍었네.
敵が来ます。皆さん、戦闘の準備を。 어디에서도 볼 수 없을 색채로
산초류 경을 온 라샹그르. 끝을 낼 시간이다.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
일소지 가져갈래요.
기가 튀고.
이상이 무엇이라 생각하시오?
림버스 컴퍼니の皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
가족을 위해.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
인스퍼레이션 감사합니다.
임파스터. 림버스 컴퍼니の皆さん、この勢いに乗って勝ちに行きましょう。 어디에서도 볼 수 없을 색채로 아이씨, 짜증나게. 임파스터. 味方が優勢です。今こそ勝機をつかむ時です。
점 찍었네.
날 견뎌라.
자율렛 브레이크 스
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 만인의 신금을 울리지는 못하더라도 여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을 선보이고 있는 것 같네요.
Alrighty, and that is where we're going to end it for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time when we finish off the last 2 levels of the event. So yeah, until then, bye!